I'm going to show you how to configure Aruba Central Cloud Auth with Google Workspace. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open Notepad or some place where I can record notes as I walk through the installation, because you're going to need to jot some things down, and we're going to need to then add that information into Aruba Central. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a web browser with 3 tabs. One to admin.google.com, one to console.cloud.google.com, and one to Aruba Central, or you first have to log into the common cloud. So the first thing I'm going to do is log into the admin console, and I need to you go down to your account settings. So go to account settings, and record your customer ID, record your primary admin's email address, and you also have to have your domain name. So as you can see, I wrote those down here, and we're going to now move on to the second thing, where we're going to go into the console.cloud.google.com. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on APIs and services. So you can see right here I'm at the main dashboard. If I click back and hit enter, this is my main starting dashboard here. So it says select a project. So I'm going to click on my organization here, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new project. So first I'm going to go to APIs, and I'm going to go to create project, and I'm going to call this Google Cloud Auth. And then I'm going to create. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on Enable APIs and Services. Oh, I'm going to first search for the Admin SDK API. I'm going to click on that. And then I just want to enable that. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the OAuth consent screen. I'm going to select internal, create, Okay, so that successfully created it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go to credentials, and then I'm going to go to create credentials, and I'm going to do OAuth client. Application type is going to be web application. And I have to add a URI in here. So I have that information saved. I'm going to have to quick go and grab it. And I'm going to go into security, authentication and policy, hit config, look at your user access policy, and I already have this set up. I'm going to delete it, but let me go in and grab the information that we need first. So here is this is where you get your redirect URI. So I have it copied. Now I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to add the URI. Okay, so I copied in the redirect URI and then click create. And remember, you go into, and you can copy it from here and paste it in. Then click create. And you're going to want to keep this information here. So I wouldn't download this JSON file, because we have to download another JSON file later in the while we're walking through these different steps. This is for a backup. I just want to download it. You can go back and download it later if you need it. But I think people get confused on which JSON file they have to upload. So don't even worry about downloading this one right now. So I'm going to click on here for my client ID, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come back over here and say client ID. Go back to my page and my client secret. Click on here. It's going to copy it. And then I'm going to click OK. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my service account. And click create and continue. Okay, so now I can just click done. And that created my service account. I can go over here. I could edit it if I want. I could click on it if I want to get the information. So my service account unique ID, I'm going to grab that here. Okay, so we have that information. The next thing we need to do is we need to go in and we need to create a key. So when I click on add key, create new key, it's a JSON key. So click create. And this is the JSON file that you need. So I'm going to put this right onto my, well, I'll save it in my documents for right now. So you can see that it downloaded it down here. And now I'm going to click close. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the admin.google.com page. And now I'm going to go into my security tab. And then I'm going to go to access and data control, API controls, and then I'm going to go to manage domain-wide delegations. So now I'm going to click on new, Add New. And this is asking me for my client ID. Now this is the service account ID that we created just a few moments ago. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to paste it in. And here it's asking for OAuth scopes. Now, one thing you can do is when you're in Aruba Central, let me duplicate this tab here. What you can do from Aruba Central is look for Google Cloud Auth. And you'll find really good directions on how to set this up. Now this is going to give you a step-by-step on what I'm doing. And there's also even some videos in here. But there's also a section where it will give you the URLs that you need to paste in here. So these are the two that we need to paste in. So if we copy this one, I can go back here and copy the second one. And then I click Authorize. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Directory, and you may already have this set up, but what you want to do is go in the directory and then organizational units, and you can create a new organizational unit if you want. And I'll create a new one just since we're here. And then what I'm going to do is I can go up and I can create new groups. So I created two groups, one called student and one called teachers. And then this is where you create your users. Now most people are already going to have this set up. Then you can take your users and you can add them in, to certain groups that you want. So add selected user to a group. Selected group, we'll make this one a teacher and add. And then we'll add this person to the students group. So now that's most of the stuff that I need to set up in my Google. That's really the hardest part, is setting up your Google admin and your Google console. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Aruba Central, and I'm going to, let me delete, because I already set this up. So let me go in and let me delete it. And I'll set it all up over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Setup, and you have a choice between Google Workspace or Microsoft Azure. So we're going to do Google Workspace. Now this is where we get our information. So my customer ID, this came out of my admin console. So we'll copy it. We're going to paste it in here. My domain is, my administration email is Now I have to get my client ID. Oops, this came out of your services or your OAuth settings. Oh. Okay. My client secret. And now I'm going to drag and drop this JSON file into there. And now I should be able to click connect, and if we did everything right, it will successfully connect. So there you go, connect it successfully. Now I can go down here and I can click save and make sure everything is saved.